So I'm having a chat with Eddie of Rocket Penguin. How are you?
How's it going, Jim? I'm
Yeah,
great. How are you?
not too bad. Thanks so much. So first things first, your debut album is out now. Polar Opposites. Tell us a bit about it.
Woo. Absolutely. So Polar Opposites debut album, Rocket Penguin is a project that starts as a storytelling narrative project that tells the story of a penguin that moved from Antarctica to New York. It's just a kind of like a totem to tell a story of someone who moved from place A to place B, really to find fortune and whatnot. And I want to tell my story. I'm someone that moved to New York, and polar opposites, Antarctica, New York, man versus nature, imagination versus reality, and I think the beauty of it is that I wanted to tell this story, and I was thinking of ways of making it as absurd as possible. Uh, and at the same time as relatable as possible. And that's the story behind the concept of polar opposites, because a
Mhm.
penguin in New York is kind of absurd. If you think about it, Antarctica is the least touched by mankind place on Earth, and New York, even the parks are man-made, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. you know?
yeah, indeed. And
Yeah,
you've released a few singles as well. Your latest single
for
is the
sure.
title track as well. Tell us about the track as well.
Correct. Yeah, for sure. Every song on the album and every single leading up to the album is a little chapter of the story, and that is narrated through obviously music and lyrics, but also through social media and through music videos and any sort of visual element that I can think of and that is available to me in order to tell that story. The title track is called Polar Opposites, and it's kind of like the let's call it the manifesto, the opening of the entire project, and it kind of sets the tone because the song talks about uh, a potential relationship that could be with a significant other, but it could also be, in this case, with the city. Of how the penguin finds itself in this whirlwind and this chaos, and this kind of like push and pull narrative of are we together, are we not together. The lyric that kind of, I think, kind of symbolizes the entire thing is, I wonder if we overthink about each other at the same time. So it kind of goes into this, like, there's this deep kind of sense of, what am I doing here, does it even matter, kind of thing. And do you do the same? Like, are we on the same kind of wavelength? And just to find out that we're polar opposites, but as you know, polar opposites and opposites sometimes attract each other, right? So yeah,
As they have done in your band.
as as they have done in on the multiple versions of myself, and the band.
Yeah, indeed. I'd like to talk a little bit about the writing side of things. So, how do tracks normally start off for you?
Sure. There's no two songs are the same kind of thing, but I do like to start off with a concept and an idea, and uh, that could be as simple as a sentence. That can be as simple as a feeling that I want to express or an experience that I want to talk about. And yeah, I think uh, sometimes it comes through a musical inspiration and a riff or a drum beat or of sorts, and sometimes again like from a lyric. I do like to write the lyrics once I have a sense of what the feeling of the song is. Like if it's a fast-paced song and like you want to kind of like scream out in the world, or if it's like more of an introspective kind of song and a little quieter. But I do always latch on a specific feeling or a specific sentence. That's always kind of like where it starts from.
Mhm.
And my process is very much like many others. My notes app and my memo app are always on, and whenever I'm around, going by my day, there might be like a moment of inspiration. You're like, oh, I want to latch onto that.
Mhm.
And then when I'm in the studio, that I can kind of pull everything out and be like, okay, yeah, I want to talk about this. It's very rare that you're like going to sit down and like, I'm going to write a song today. That very rarely happens.
Mm. And have you got more music lined up for the future? And have you got a whole backlog of music?
Yeah, way too much. Yeah, I think that the like every again, I'm sure you hear this all the time, but um the process of selecting what goes on an album or even what you want to release is it's kind of like write 10 songs to pick the to have the good one kind of thing,
Mm.
and yeah, I have plenty. I also this song has collaborations on the writing side and the performance side, but not on the artistic side. So I think some things that will be very interesting in the futures are kind of features, and that having artists that I look up to and that are friends with the project and myself to kind of do features and collaborations of those sorts.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, people will want to see you live as well, but I think you've just got one date in the diary at the moment. What's the plan for you?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So we have this we have a gig here in New York, in Brooklyn, elsewhere, and that's kind of the it's going to be kind of like the release party of this album and the celebration for this album. Obviously, it's going to be a local gig, and then that's kind of going to serve as a zero gig for what's coming in 2024. That will kind of see me on the road a little bit and
Hmm.
overseas and whatnot. But yeah, at the moment that's kind of like the big celebration for this album.
Yeah, and coming over here,
Yeah, 2024 for sure.
great stuff.
I'll date. I won't spoil it yet, but dates are coming. So
Good.
stay tuned.
Good to know. Now, for those who will, you've obviously touched on it already, but if you have a look at your videos and pictures and things, you play alongside a penguin. What's it like for the penguin to learn the guitar and play it on stage?
Yeah, no, it's fun. The penguin and I are the same, and I am the penguin. The penguin is me, and we are all together, as the Beatles used to sing once. Yeah, the penguin is fun, man. Like it's I was thinking about this project, and I was I love penguins, and I love the concept of a penguin. If you think about it, the penguin is a bird that doesn't fly,
Hmm.
so it's kind of like against the nature of the animal itself. And nature's like, here's wings, but I'm gonna forget the part, like that feather, that type of feather that's gonna let you fly. The penguin is like, you know what, all right, well, I'm just going to learn how to swim, and it's kind of a middle finger to and do to the establishment, if you would, in a broader sense. But also, it's do good with what you're given. You dealt a poor hand, play with it and make best. And that's how I kind of identify with it a lot, because people think of rock stars and like or artists, and it's like, oh, this cool like press photo, and I don't know, like you're cool and whatnot. No,
Yeah.
the penguin is clumsy, and like it's kind of like socially awkward. It also has a lot of layers in it. But then if you put it in water, it's amazing, and it does the best. It outshines a lot of animals that are actually meant to be in water. So that's kind of like, put me on stage, coach, and I'll be that. And I think it can be, from a narrative perspective, like it can be as simple as, here's a giant penguin going around New York, and kids love it, and they take photos with it, and it's lighthearted,
Mm.
and it's funny and whatnot, and there's an element of virality to it. But then if you dig deeper into the layers and you start looking into it, you're like, okay, why is it a penguin, and what does the penguin represent, and why did it move here? Oh, it's playing the guitar. Oh,
Mm.
why did it move here? Like, so why does it play? Is it playing the guitar? So um, the long story long, but to answer your question, it's very fun, and the penguin is absolutely terrible at playing the guitar, but good enough to be on the stage and have some fun with us.
Great stuff. Eddie, it's been great having a chat with you.
Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate your time, and yeah,